Good day everyone, Trainer Maxim with you. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode. Today we're going to talk about how we can improve our performance with one little trick we all know well about. Of course, as always, before we start, I want to thank everyone who supports my channel. Thank you very much for all your comments, suggestions, greatly appreciate it. Your generosity, super thanks. And of course, my support angels. I really appreciate your support, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar well with what I'm about to talk about. But before, I want to give you a couple of examples and ask one simple question. Let's say construction work. Before you pour the foundation for the house using concrete, you do one important thing. And the same thing you do with woodworking. When you connect two pieces of wood with glue, you have to do one very important thing to make sure that those pieces are staying in place, well connected. And any other activity like cooking, after you made a meal, you have to do something to let it do something so that it has more taste. And the thing I'm talking about is rest. You pour the foundation for your house and you need to let the concrete rest for at least 78 hours so that the foundation is solid before you start laying bricks on top of that foundation. With the woodworking, you applied glue to two pieces of wood and you need to let it sit there for a couple of minutes or 10 minutes to make sure that the adhesion between those pieces of wood is very strong. Same with cooked food. After you cooked some meal, you need to let it rest on the stove so that it gets tastier and cools down a little bit. And yet with the body, we don't do that. We train our body so hard every day in the gym. We go to the gym, we train 4 or 5 times a week. Some of you, I'm sure, go to the gym 6 times a week to drive the adaptation of the body, adaptation to the weight, adaptation to the cardiovascular workload, and etc. But we actually don't let the body rest enough. And just like with anything in nature, during the rest, that's where the adaptation happens. When you pour the concrete in the ground, while it's resting, the chemical processes are happening. All the chemicals are bonding together and solidifying and forming the firm base for the future improvements. Same with cooking, woodworking, glue, etc. Everything needs some rest. So is your body. Because in the first place, when you train, you're actually driving the adaptation not of the muscles, adaptation not of the body, not of the bones, but in the first place, you're driving the adaptation of the central nervous system, which by forming new connections between the neurons inside the brain, will provide you with extra strength, extra electrical activity for your muscles, extra processes needed to improve your connective tissues, and so on and so forth. But without rest, it's not going to happen. When you don't let the body adequately rest, those adaptations are slow because inside the brain, those neurons are being connected with actual physical structures made of proteins. And those proteins, they need to be first delivered with food into the body, after digested, after disassembled, after reassembled into the native protein, native to the body, because the protein you consume is not native for your body. The body disassembles it into the amino acids and after reassembles it into your native protein. After that, that protein needs to be delivered to the brain, into the brain, taken into the brain, and the brain builds those new connections. And after this activity has been completed, you can go to the gym and the brain with new connections knows well how to execute that or another element in a new way, or send more electrical activity, or use your body in a slightly different way. So really, in the first place, we're not training the body, we're training the brain. Your body is pretty much capable of any skills as of now, like pianos. Every piano in the world can actually play Beethoven and Tchaikovsky as is. In any shape, even if they're out of tune, it's still possible. But it all depends on the person who plays the piano. If the person is rested or knows well what he or she is doing, then the play will be really good no matter what piano you use. Same with our bodies. Our bodies are piano, our brain is the player or a conductor. In the first place, we need to let the body rest so that the brain, the central nervous system, has enough time to adjust to whatever activity you're performing. And also, we need to keep in mind that all the adjustments are happening when the brain, or not the brain, when the body is dormant, when you go and sleep at night. Because just like with the cars or the planes, you never maintain the car or a plane which is in the air, or car which is still moving on the road. You park the car, you park the plane, you disassemble them, you open the hood, and the mechanics are working when the plane or a car are not in use. Same with the body. When you go to bed, that's where the adaptation happens. When you sleep at night, the adaptation happens during the sleep. And ideally, we need 8 hours of sleep, but we don't have that luxury anymore. Many of us manage barely to get maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep per day, and that's way not enough. But we definitely keep pushing the body hard by going to the gym 4 or 5 times per week. And we actually think that if the adaptation is not happening, if we're not becoming stronger, or the bench press is not improving, or the handstands is not getting better, then our natural solution is to put more efforts into that, to allocate more time for that, versus actually we need to do less of the handstands if we or less of the bench press if we see that we're not progressing, we plateaued. We need to rest, to let the body adapt. And also, you all know that phenomenon when you go on vacation for 5, 6, 7, 10, maybe 15 days, and you come back well rested, you go to the gym and everything works better. You're more flexible, you are more powerful, you lift with strength, and etc. Well, it's because your brain had enough time to readjust. All the tasks of the adjustments of adaptation inside the brain have been completed. The body well rested and recovered after the training, and you became as a result stronger. Because another thing about the rest needs to be more or less continuous. Just one good sleep won't do that. Imagine that situation: you are a programmer, let's say, and you have a task to code some piece of software, for example. And every time you code, every hour, your supervisor keeps coming to you with some little changes. No, let's make this button red. No, let's make this button blue, or let's improve that functionality. And every hour you have one small micro tasks to do. And as a result, as a coder, you need to go back and rewrite that piece of code and reintegrate that piece of code into the software, or do the changes. As a result, your work is slow because you never have time to accomplish the intermittent task, which is crucial for the further development. Because you never develop the product or any skill as a whole piece at once. You work in stages. You reach that stage, the other stage, and you keep building all those stages. But if you have not enough time to accomplish the initial stage, simply because you keep providing a lot of information on a daily basis to the brain to adapt, and the brain simply doesn't have time to catch up. Because today you're training the handstands and the brain needs to readjust itself, rewire to meet your criteria for the balance for the shoulders. But the never next day you're learning planches, and it's another task for the brain to accomplish. And the brain has only 5-6 hours per night to sleep, so those intermittent tasks are never finished, never completed. And you keep piling up those tasks for the brain, and the brain simply doesn't catch up. And at some point, the brain just stalls, and that's what we call overtraining. You have a lack of energy, you don't feel like training, you don't like going to the gym, and etc. And we don't realize that when it happens, you need to rest. It's really counterintuitive for us. If anything, we think that we need to go more often to the gym, maybe decrease the sessions, decrease the intensity, but still go to the gym. Do not give up. That should not be the case. You need to let the brain rest so that the brain has enough time, 5, 4, 6, 7 days even at a time, to accomplish the intermediate task. Let's say you're learning the handstands, you're training the the balance stuff of the handstands, the balance aspect. Okay, you train for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and after take a pause from the handstands for 5-6 weeks, for 5-6 days, or from any training to this matter, so that the brain can sit, do nothing, and finish all the tasks it needs to finish in order to facilitate all the changes you're asking for, so that the brain has better structure within itself in order to run your physical structures, such as muscles and arms and levers, in a much better way. Otherwise, you keep piling those tasks and the brain simply stalls. The brain cannot catch up because those processes are time consuming and energy consuming. The brain really takes time to adjust while you're sleeping. So it's very important to let the brain rest in order to get more time to accomplish your intermittent task, so that you can build upon those tasks other tasks. Just like the foundation of the house, you pour the concrete rests for a couple of days, and after the foundation is solid, now you can start laying bricks on top of that foundation, and you let the brick wall sit so that the concrete between the bricks can solidify, and after you start putting the roof on it, and etc. But if you try to accomplish everything at once, you pour the foundation, the cement is there, it's still fresh, you put the brick wall on top, and right on top of the brick wall, right away you put the roof, of course your house will collapse shortly after, because you did not let it sit and rest and solidify. So no luck, the structure is unstable. Exactly the same situation with our body. Often we just need to train for 3-4 weeks and take 1 full week off training, completely off training. There is another benefit to it, psychological aspect. When we train often, the brain gets a little bit bored with the routine, because that's how we humans work. We adapt to everything we have on a regular basis. We adapt and we lose our interest. We lose our excitement about this activity. You're not looking forward to going to the gym anymore. You just go there because it's your habit. It's something you must do, and sometimes you drag yourself there. But because you're not a quitter, right? I have a character, I have the discipline, I must go there, I must train. That's all good. Discipline is great. But discipline is an ability to do something which needs to be done, even despite the fact that you don't like it. And that's where you can apply your discipline. Discipline yourself to take occasional rest. Not occasional, but consistent rest. 2, 3, 4 weeks training, 1 week off. Otherwise, the dullness of the process will eat your energy. And when the brain is not excited about that or another activity, it means that there is a lack of electrical signals sent to the muscles during that activity. As a result, your bench press is not as strong, your squats are not as technical, and etc. And now you're in real danger of hurting yourself because you don't have the adequate muscular activity, but you still keep pushing the same weights you used to do 3-4 weeks ago when you were stronger, when you were still excited about the training, let's say right after the vacation. You don't decrease the weights, you start you want to keep going with the weights, but you're not excited about the training anymore because it's became dull a bit. The brain doesn't send anymore enough electrical activity, so you feel a little bit weaker, but the same weights are still in place. You might hurt yourself. We don't like it. So we need to rest also in order to get excited about the training process again, because when you take say 7 days off training, the first day you feel rested and you feel relieved. Okay, I don't have to go to the gym, that's nice. The second day you're relieved more. The third day you start missing your training. The fourth day you start thinking, I'm getting fatter, I'm getting more out of balance, which is not the case, by the way, it's just the perception. The fifth day you start going crazy about not training because, oh my god, I'm losing my form. Again, not the case, just psychological aspect, but that's exactly what we need. We need to accumulate that guilt of not going to the gym, so that guilt fights the dullness of the training process. Because we're all human beings, we get used to constantly present activities. No matter what activities, your favorite food will become disgusting if you keep eating it 25 days in a row. Your favorite activity will stop being your favorite if you keep going through that activity on a daily basis. So everything is good in moderation, as one person said. And that's another psychological benefit of not training constantly. When you take the rest, not only do you allow enough time for the brain to make all those changes happen inside the brain, all those biological structures to be rebuilt and reinforced, new connections with the neurons, new connections to the muscles, etc., new muscular growth, new joint improvement. The connective tissue will have time to recover, regenerate, and improve. But also you will have the psychological benefits of this. When you accumulate this guilt of not training, when you start missing your training, when you start wanting that training again, and after the vacation, after 5-6 days, you go to the gym, you feel well rested, your brain have accomplished all the intermediate tasks inside itself, all the structures are well rested and well solidified, like cement with the foundation, and you're ready to build the next stage on top of those structures you've already got under control. And that's how you build the tree of your functionality. We're not competitive athletes. We don't have the schedules. We don't need to train hard because we're not getting ready for the competition, which is in 1 month. It's not the case. We have all the time in the world. Our goal is to stay healthy, to gain more functionality. And the rest is an absolutely wonderful performance improvement enhancer, kind of like steroids, but in a very different way. It's an absolutely real way to improve your performance by just simply resting on a regular base. So you train for 4 or 5 weeks. You take 1 week off training. You can put it in your schedule. There are a lot of tools. Let's say in my schedule, I have every 4 weeks I take a break, so 4 weeks of training, and 1 week I do nothing. I lie down on the sofa, I read the book, I don't go to the gym unless I train my students, and I just do nothing. I accumulate that guilt of not training. I start thinking that my flexibility went down, my functionality went down. Never the case, by the way. If anything, after the rest, I'm more flexible. If anything, after the rest, I'm stronger. I feel that my stamina is improved, and etc. But also, I find that my one-arm handstand or any other skills are more robust after the rest. Because again, all the training objectives I had during my training period, during my 4 weeks, the brain had time to accomplish, to facilitate it in terms of the restructuring itself from within, in terms of reconnecting itself to the muscles. So now, after that week of rest, I'm well rested in terms of the brain structure. Everything is restored, everything is rejuvenated, and also I'm psychologically refreshed. I have that desire to go to the gym and train. I'm eager, I'm excited, I have that passion. And when you are excited about the activity, it means that the brain will send more electrical signals to the muscles responsible for the activity you're excited about. So your activity will be stronger. So if anything, you're doing yourself a great favor by resting on a regular basis. That is my message for today. It's pretty common sense. I just want to make this common sense more common. So let's do that together and keep it in mind. Resting is a very efficient way to improve your performance, to learn handstands faster, to learn skills faster. Let your body, let your brain, most importantly, rest on a regular basis. Train 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. Take 1 week off training. Don't do anything. Maybe light jogging, walking, fine, but do not lift. Do not go to the gym. Just give it a try, and you will see that you will actually feel better. Just by trying, it will not hurt you. If you give it a try, you will not lose anything. You have only gains to have by trying. You will not lose anything. It will not make any significant difference in a bad way if you try this approach. But I encourage you to try and see how it goes. So, common sense, let's make it more common together. that is my message for today. Thank you very much for being with me, for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Now go enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Train your maximum. Bye bye.